All right, morning all. So I don't know how well this is going to work. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be recording the lessons and I'm going to be posting them. They will be available on YouTube. I'm going to need a little bit of time to get this going, okay? Posting to YouTube is fairly quick, but I have to remember how to do it. So what I'm going to do, and I'm really hoping that you guys can hear me, so send me an email if something doesn't work for you or whatever. This has been the most stressful week of my life, I think, more so than last year. So fingers crossed that everything works out. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, having gone through the notes here, I'm not entirely keen on giving you guys all of this information on the very first page just yet. I think we're going to work our way into this, okay? So example number one, let's do that first, okay? So the first two figures below show cubes made from toothpicks and marshmallows. In this investigation, you will examine the relationship between the numbers of cubes and the number of marshmallows. So take a look, we've got one cube. Let's count how many marshmallows we've got. So I'm going to mark these in red. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. In the next picture, I have my 8 that I had originally plus 4 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, which is going to give us 12. So draw the next 3 cubes and the next 4 cubes. Do your best. Drawing in 3 dimension is not exactly easy. So take your time. I'm going to draw it with you. So the way I do it is I draw a square, or let's say a rectangle. And I'm going to draw another rectangle behind it. So let's go with something that looks like this. Okay, and then I am going to connect like that. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to divide these into 3. So I've got 1, 2, and 3. And then I'm going to just follow the angles that are given to me, and we got something that looks like that. All right, now I'm going to mark my marshmallows. Oh, I forgot to draw something. Forgot to draw the back. So just join those right there. There we go. I think I got them all. Now going back in to draw my marshmallows. And I think I got them all. Yep. Okay, so now you're going to draw 4 cubes. Just follow the same system. Draw a rectangle behind it. Something like that. I'm just going to change the thickness of my pen. And I moved it, of course. Let's see, is it going to let me do it? There. Okay, that's better. Sorry about that. I'm going to make sure this is still recording. Yep. Okay, cool. All right. Still in business. Okay, and we're gonna divide this into 4. And we're just following the same method. And you're back. There we go. Okay, mark your marshmallows. So thrilling, eh? Okay. I'm just going to pause recording for just a minute. I got to answer emails. This is day 1, so I'm going to have a lot of them. Okay, so continuing on. So we've got our cubes drawn. And now let's flip the page. And we are going to fill in a table of values using the cubes, okay? So, number of cubes. When I had 1 cube, I had 4 marshmallows. When I had 2 cubes, I had 8. Or, pardon me. Let's try that again. 1 cube had 8 marshmallows. 2 cubes had 12. 3 cubes had 16. 4 cubes had 20. Now, what would happen if I had 5 cubes? What am I doing each time to get from one number to the next? Well, I'm adding 4 each time. So I'm going to add 4. That gives me 24. If I had 6 cubes, that would give me 28. So now what we're going to do is we are going to graph the data. Okay, so we have a graph already started for you. So I'm just going to mark this as 0, 0, or just 0. Okay, and my scale over here is going up by 1. So I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll just finish off with 7. Now, I'm going to mark this as X for my number of cubes, and I'm going to write that down here. We always need labels. And over here is my Y, number of marshmallows. Okay, number of marshmallows. And let's take a look at our scale here. I'm going up by 4, so 0, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, and up here is going to be 32. So now in red, I'm going to plot my points. Now, when I had 1 cube, I had 8 marshmallows. When I had 2 cubes, I had 12 marshmallows. When I had 3 cubes, I had 16 marshmallows. 4 cubes, 20. 5 cubes, 24. 6 cubes, 28. If the pattern continues, 7 cubes will have 32 marshmallows. Okay? Now, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about whether or not we need to join our points. So take a look at the graph, okay? So I'm just going to use actually, no, I won't. Okay, take a look at these points. When I had 1 cube, I had 8 marshmallows. That makes sense, okay? When I had 2 cubes, I had 16 marshmallows. That makes sense. Does it make sense for me to plot a point right here? 2.5 cubes and whatever number of marshmallows that would be. So over here. Does this data here make sense for this point? Can I have 2.5 cubes? And I don't know what that number over here is, but would it make sense to have that data? No, because we can't have half cubes. We can't have half marshmallows, okay? So we're not going to join the points, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more in the next section here, okay? So first of all, let's represent the data as a set of ordered pairs. When we are writing a set of values, we open up what are called these curly brackets. This tells us that we have a set of values, okay? And when I'm writing ordered pairs, they have to be in brackets. We always write our x value first and then our y value. So I'm going to write my x value, then my y value. X value, y value, and so on and so forth. And then I close with a set of curly brackets, okay? All right. We're going to determine the following for situation 1. Our input values. Our input values and my screen just froze. Okay. My input values are always the first value in my ordered pair. So these are my input values. My output values are always these ones. The second one, so our y value. Okay. So our input value is the number of cubes. Our output values are the number of marshmallows. The independent variable is going to be the number of cubes. The dependent variable, so the number of marshmallows depends on the number of cubes. The more cubes we have, the more marshmallows we have. So our dependent variable is the number of marshmallows. Now, is the data continuous or discrete? Let's talk about that. Remember on our graph when we discussed whether or not we need to join our points, and I said we're not going to join our points on the graph because the points in between don't make sense. We can't have a half number of cubes and a half number of marshmallows. It doesn't make sense. So in this case, our data is discrete. Should the dots on the graph be connected? Well, no, because the points in between don't make sense. Okay, choose the equation below that matches the graph. What strategies can you use to verify? Okay, these were corrected in on the electronic notes, but I didn't catch the error when I was printing off your notes. So the answer here should actually be D. So you might want to make that change in your notes. I think you guys have y equals 4x plus 2. It should be y equals 4x plus 4. All right. So what strategies can we use to verify? Well, we can substitute the values for y, or the values for x and y. That's what I wanted to say. Okay, so let's go back to our table of values. So let's use the 3 and the 16. So 3 cubes, 16 marshmallows. So x is equal to 3, y is equal to 16. And let's substitute into the equation. So my equation, sorry guys. So my equation is y equals 4x plus 4. And now I'm going to put in my values. So I've got 16 equals 4 times 3 plus 4. 16 equals 12 plus 4, which indeed makes sense. Okay, so that equation is going to work. Now, use the equation to algebraically determine how many marshmallows would be needed to make 56 cubes. Okay, so we know that we have to use this equation, y equals 4x plus 4. Now, we have to decide what this 56 means. Well, the 56 is the number of cubes, so we're going to say x is equal to 56. And we need to know how many marshmallows we're going to need. So y equals 4 times 56 plus 4. Now you can throw this into your calculator. I'll give you guys a second to do that while I get my calculator going. And I've got 4 times 56 plus 4. That gives me 228. Now, I need to finish off with a sentence. So, 228 marshmallows are needed. Okay, use the equation to algebraically determine how many cubes could be made with 460 marshmallows. Okay, so now it gives me 460 marshmallows. So I'm going to say y equals 460. So we need to know what those variables mean. Okay? All right, so write your equation, y equals 4x plus 4. Y is equal to 460, so we're going to put 460 over here. 4x plus 4. Now you're going to use everything you learned in equations to solve for x. So 460 take away 4 is equal to 4x. And my smart files are very laggy this morning. So 460 minus 4 gives me 456. Divide both sides by 4. And I get 114 is equal to x. So we're going to make, so we'll make 114 cubes. All right, let's flip the page. I'm going to pause. I've gotten some more emails. Give me 2 seconds.